So Basim is returning in Assassin's Creed Mirage and we are so excited to know his full story. Especially we are going to know how an orphan street thief who deeply wished to be recognized and be powerful in his life and eventually become a master assassin, how he overcomes the challenges he has had in his life and who played a life changer in his story. There are a ton of questions about him, like why he attacked Eivor and whether he is a good or a bad guy, and we will try to answer them all. But before we can understand Basim, we have to rewind to two important days in history, and both were very important days, as Basim's destiny was locked on these 2 days even before he was born. The first is when in Odyssey all the European gods were made ISU, which meant that they had the power to be an advanced civilization in AC universe. Loki was also an ISU and Odin did not like him, and there are obvious reasons for that. I know you are not here for Loki or Odin, but bear with me and I will tell you why we are discussing about them. The second important day is when the Great Toba catastrophe hit the earth and all the ISU were killed by the solar flare. We know on that day Odin, Thor and others used the Yggdrasil to transfer their consciousness into someone in the future generation. While doing so, we heard Odin say,
"None may follow. Loki least of all."
So Odin did not want Loki's consciousness to live at all. However, we know Loki was not the one to stay behind and followed them, and after stealing Heimdall's place, Loki was successful in transferring his consciousness to the future generations, with the aim of being reunited with his lover Alethea, whose consciousness was preserved within the staff of Hermes Trismegistus. This is actually where Basim comes into the story of Assassin's Creed way before we got to see him in Valhalla, as Loki's consciousness was preserved in Basim. Basim is actually not Loki, but Loki's consciousness has taken over his soul. Now, in the 9th century, Basim ibn Ishaq is born in Samarra in Baghdad, the capital of Iraq. His father happens to be an architect who built the Great Mosque of Samarra. However, he was exiled from the kingdom and was also discredited for the work he had done. So Basim's family is forced into poverty and hardships. While losing his father was enough to break him, however, adding to his grief, Basim's mother also died when he was very young, thus making him an orphan. This had brought money problems to the family, and this may be one of the reasons why Basim joined the Hidden Ones and worked for them in foreign lands, which partially answers the question, is Basim good or bad? And we can see he is not that bad and had a very tough childhood. When Basim was 17, he lived as a street thief and also suffered nightmarish visions, which we by the way covered in a separate detailed video. So during a failed theft as shown in the Assassin's Creed Mirage trailer, Basim was rescued from guards by the female master assassin Roshan, who also recruited him into the Brotherhood and became Basim's mentor. Then Basim was sent by the Hidden Ones to save the Sultan of Constantinople in 867, where Basim even becomes the leader of the Bureau of Constantinople, and a lot of other things happened there which will distract us from more important things we are going to discuss today. And by the way, have you subscribed the channel yet? It actually boosts our morale and helps us deliver content like this with consistency. We saw that in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Basim was able to figure out the dominance of Loki's consciousness over him only after becoming the master assassin. Though there is also a part of his own consciousness in him, but Loki is dominant in nature. We have also seen that Odin wanted Loki to perish and die forever in the Great Catastrophe, so it is not very hard to guess why Loki hates Odin and wants to kill him. When Basim finally becomes aware of his true nature, remembering that Loki's lover Alethea had her consciousness trapped in the staff of Hermes Trismegistus, Basim searched for a way to reunite his family, that is Loki's family, while taking revenge on Odin, who had also used Yggdrasil to survive and be reborn. Remember, Loki wants to kill Odin, and when in 870 Basim met the reincarnation of Tyr, who happens to be Sigurd the Viking from Norway, Basim saw this as an opportunity and followed them to Norway, while also tracking the order of the ancients in the region for the Hidden Ones. In Fornburg, Basim became acquainted with Sigurd's foster sister Eivor, who happens to be reincarnation of Odin. When Sigurd and Eivor settled the colony of Ravensthorpe in England, Basim and Haydn installed the bureau there to rebuild the Brotherhood in the island. While his apprentice helped Eivor hunt the ancients, Basim searched for the Saga Stone with Sigurd to awaken his previous incarnation's nature. In 877, Basim confronted Eivor and Sigurd in Yggdrasil chamber to take his revenge. This is actually Loki wanting to kill Odin and not a Basim versus Eivor fight. And by the way, Basim did not betray Eivor as he was not in control in the first place. And when he was close to defeat them, the Vikings used Yggdrasil to trap him in the Grey. For almost 12 centuries, Basim used Yggdrasil functions to escape from the Grey. Then in 2020, he contacted Layla Hassan, an assassin and the wielder of the staff of Hermes Trismegistus. He guided her to Yggdrasil and then tricked her into freeing him. Basim then used the power of staff to regenerate his body and was reunited with Alethea. After offering his help to the assassins, Basim used the animals to explore Eivor's genetic memories, hoping to find out that Loki's children survived the Great Catastrophe. Now, in Assassin's Creed Mirage, we will get to meet the real Basim who is yet to be influenced by Loki, and it will be a completely different experience from Valhalla, as we may get a chance to see the process of how Basim gets influenced and what led him into this path. While this much about him seems very exciting, there is much more to him and we will get to know about it in AC Mirage. We will keep you updated about everything new in this regard and other updates about Assassin's Creed. We request you to subscribe the channel, and if you like this video, please hit the like button and drop a comment, and maybe share this video with other Assassin's Creed fans. Thank you, and signing off, Game of X.